available experts, please report to room A9.
Hello guys, Exo here and welcome to Light Grid. This is what the module look like. You'll have a submit button, some listed and numbered labels, and most importantly the buttons. Our aim is to press every button that satisfies exactly one condition out of this condition list. The enter key here will have different phrases out of these ones. But other than that, it's just going from top to bottom here and working out which buttons to press. So, without further ado, let's get started with Number 1. White button is actually a Manhattan distance of 3 away from BM, QS or X. Manhattan distance is only orthogonal movements. So, like up, down, left and right. So, B, M, S, Q. We have Q up here. 1, 2, 3, no. 1, 2, 3, no. And this one isn't either. S, X. So this one isn't true for either of these white ones. Next one. Red button is a night move away from night. We've got K here. But we can't get there with any of these, I don't think. Not that one, not that one. Yeah, we can't get there with any of these ones. We do have N, I, G, H, T, but we can't get there from this one either. So none of them apply to that one. Yellow button. Yellow button directly next to another blue button. Diagonals, unless it's row column. Case label whose contents are included above a serial number. So we have P. 7 we have here. So for these two we're going to count diagonals. Which this one applies. Because the yellow button is directly next to a blue one diagonally. So that this one gets 1. 0. B. T. Let's look at this one. This one is only diagonal because it's in the same row column as the label whose content is in the serial number. Because it's only diagonals, and that one applies as well. But actually, you applied on this when I did this one as well. The 0. And 4. That one as well. So the ones we didn't check were these two. We only checked orthogonal ones. So this one also applies. Because 1, 9, C and 3 aren't in it. Q, C, 1 and K aren't in it either. But it's not orthogonal to blue, so that doesn't get 1 either. Next rule. Green button on a row without any other green buttons or an even number. Both of these don't have any other green buttons, but this one has an even number, this one doesn't, and this one doesn't. So these two get a 1, but not this one. Red button whose right bottom and bottom right neighbours form the colours of the Windows XP logo. That's red, green, blue, yellow. Which is none of them. Blue button whose row and column have at least 3 labels containing a digit. That only has 2 that contain a digit. This one only has 1 that contains a digit. So that doesn't apply for these ones. White button on a column labelled an even number. Let's enter key here which is 5 letters or shorter. It does not. Otherwise we will replace even with odd. So white button on a column labelled with an even number. Both of them are in the column labelled with an even number because there's an 8 here. So both of these get a 1. Red button is diagonally neighbours are labelled with a letter included in the bond serial number, with a letter included in the bond serial number specifically. So let's check these. J and Q, no. T and 8. T is one of them, so that one gets 1. This one diagonal to these. No usual letter. A, no. So, next one. Green button. Actually, let's look at this bit first. Unless the indicator has a label containing letter D, it's not. Otherwise, we would swap green with yellow. Green button, not on the same row or column as a letter that is not one of A, E, I, or U. This is confusingly worded. It just means if it's on a row or column that has a consonant in it, ignore it. So, consonant, consonant, consonant. So ignore that for all three of them. Yellow button on the same row or column as one or more of L, N, R, S, or T, but not E. We don't have E, so we don't have to worry about the second part. So we're just looking for L, N, R, S, or T being the row or column. L, N, R, S, T. We have a T. So this yellow button counts, but we already had one, so it's actually exceeded it, so we can put an X there. Green button on the same row or column, exactly one Morse letter, whose Morse code representation takes the equal number of time units as letter S. That would be S, N, or A. We don't have S, we have A, we don't have N. So green button on the same row or column is exactly one of these, meaning this one gets cancelled out. Blue button, whose row contains letter and number representing phone number. So 2 will be ABC, 3 will be DEF, and so on. So blue buttons, row contains a letter and the number. C1, one doesn't have any one doesn't have any letters on it, so no. And this one has 2 letters, so there's no number. This next one is the same but with the white buttons and the column. J8, which isn't going to be right. A is going to be like near the end, so that's not true either, and it's going to be the same for both of these. Red button on the same row or column as a digit or letter whose ASCII code point is a prime number. This is where you might have to look it up. ASCII code points are basically the decimal representation of where it is in ASCII. So look at all the red buttons, which are unfortunately there are 4 of them, and find at least one prime number to make it valid. So 1 is not prime, nor is 2. C should be capital C. 67. That might be prime. It is prime, so that one gets 1. Q, A1, no. 4, 52, no. T is A4, no. And K, 10.5, no, so this one doesn't have any. A, no. Q we already checked. K we already checked. And D is 68, so no. So not this one either. And this one we checked DNA already. 51. 51 might be prime. It's not prime. or 9. 57. 57 might be prime though. 57 isn't prime either. So that doesn't apply to any of those. So we only got one extra there. Next one. Yellow button that orthogonally borders a label containing a letter with the same shape as a Greek letter, thankfully listed here. So orthogonally borders a label. Only borders numbers. V isn't in that list. Q and C aren't in that list. Only borders a number, doesn't border anything, so we can ignore that. Green button on the same row or column as O and 0 or I and 1. We don't have either of those pairs, so we can ignore that. But it's either of these, but not both. Yellow button that orthogonally borders both a blue button and the label which says on the enter key. Unless the enter key has an even number of characters, it does. SUBMIT. In which case, we're going to be replacing yellow with green and blue with red. In other words, green button orthogonally bordering both a red button and label in enter, so submit. So let's look at it. This one is orthogonal to both a red and a letter in submit. So this one gets 1. What about this one? Doesn't border a letter. Doesn't border a letter. So we only gained one thing from that. Blue button is at least a Manhattan distance far away from a label with a letter that is not A-E-I-O-U. Unless at least 3 labels in the module have letters or digits included in the serial number. P, 7, 0, and T. 7, 0, and T are on here. And 4. So this is true. So we're going to be also including Y in that. So 1, 2, 3, 4, that's a J. 1, 2, 3, 4, that's an 8. So both of the blue ones are fine. So we can add 1 to both of them. Next. White button on the same diagonal and exactly 2 digits that share no common divisors. The diagonals just go across each of the labels. So this white button is on the diagonal here between Q and D. Neither of them are numbers, so we can ignore that. And the diagonal this is on is this one, which is K and 1, not both numbers, so we can ignore that. But common divisors means like if you had 9 and 5, they wouldn't have common divisors because it's 3 squared and 5. Red button on the same diagonal as exactly one of the digits of these, unless one of them is in the serial number. 0 is in the serial number. 7 is in the serial number. So we can ignore this rule altogether. But diagonals being the same as previously. Yellow button on the same column as an R. We don't have any R, so we can ignore that. And it will be on the same row as one or more of SD or G. So we had an R in a column and it was in this row, then they would be true. Green button on the same row as an R and F. We don't have either of those. So, and doesn't apply here, but it will be on the same column as a C or a P, unless the enter key label the word with only one type of vowel. We have U and I, so no. But otherwise we would apply it to the whites and the blues as well. Blue button, but any other white buttons on the same row or the same column both of these are on the same column as the white, so no. Or a white button, same diagonal as a label, matches an initial of a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, or the amount of letters in their name, which is 789DLM or R. So this diagonal is 1 in K, which is not in that, and this one is in D and Q, which does match. So we can add one to this, which actually takes it over the limit. So we get that one gets an X. So hopefully, if I've done this right, we shall now press these lights and then press submit. And if we've done this correctly, when we press submit, we get a self-module. As you can see, that is a very long and tedious module. But all I can say is be careful with it and check everything. Even if you need to check over it again to make sure you haven't missed anything or remove something that only applied to one or not applied one that did apply to only one. But hopefully that makes light grid a bit more simpler to understand. And I'll see you guys next tutorial. I'll see you later.